HalferLand videos.
Alright, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel, HalferLand Performance, HalferLand Videos. Today we have something great going on and it's exciting, but I'm in a rush, so it's going to be mostly work, very little talk in this video, probably going to be mostly time-lapse. But what we got the motor back from the machine shop, and let me show you guys. Here is the J35a7. We have our HalferLand Performance 800 horsepower J32, J35 block guards, and they are absolutely beautiful, guys. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So while installing them, it is helpful to put a little bit of oil on the outside to make them go in a little smoother, or you can install them dry as I did, and that way they bite into the cylinders or into the water passages, but it will be a harder install. So the best way to go about it, guys, is to start on like one end, just pick an end and kind of set it down in there, wiggle it down till it starts going in, and then kind of tap your way along, get it in there, and then once you have it pretty much seated and starting to go in, then what you want to do, you just want to hit it here, 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 and then you can start to alternate, go here, 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 here. Start doing that, and that way it goes in evenly. But taking a look at them, guys, this is awesome. For $239, this is tremendous reinsurance for a boosted, even like a high horsepower NA or a turbo motor, or not turbo, nitrous. So obviously our motor is going to be about 600, 650 daily. Obviously we could probably push this motor with our forged rods. We could probably push it easily into the 800, 900,000 horsepower range. 1,000 would be getting a little close, just because I feel stock pistons is not where you want to have 1,000 horsepower to. So I would stay probably around 800 at the max, and that would depend on how the tuning looks and what I see in the data. What I'm going to start doing now, guys, just have some generic diamond power pistons, or piston rings. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start gapping these, and we are... So any motor build that comes out from HalferLand Performance now will be accompanied by a blueprint engine sheet, and this has everything, guys. Piston to wall clearance, piston to head clearance, weights. So you can see the weights on the rod, or on the pistons. You can see it on the wrist pins. Basically everything, guys, and it's a 2-sheet. So we already measured out the rod clearance. We got the wrist pin weight, we got the piston weight. The rod weight was measured down to the gram by the machine shop. We micro polished the crank. What I need to do now, I'm actually going to go ahead, I'm going to hone these cylinders out, and then I'm going to start gapping the ring. Okay, or not. I got to wait for the drill to get going or charge, so I'm not going to hone yet. I'm going to go ahead and do the piston rings first. So what you want to do, guys, you can grab any piston you want. As you can see, I have them numbered. This is our piston holder, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to go ahead and pull out piston 1. And what you want to do, you take the ring. So this is the top ring right here, guys. And you face it up in there, and I can't do this one-handed, but you basically compress it and you set it in there. Alright, so after you have the piston rings in there, which I don't, you're going to take the piston and you're going to evenly push down on it till it gets right there past the ringland, so right about there, and make sure it's even all the way around. So it wants to go right to there, and that's about 15 to 20 millimeters down into the bore, and then you can check the clearance. So you just pull the piston back out. You go ahead, you take your feeler gauge, and then you go down, and in between the ring gaps, you go ahead and you measure the gap between the rings. So with our turbo build, our J32, which is there, the J32A3 was right around 580 wheel horsepower, and I gapped them for like 800 horsepower. So it was more blow-by than what I really wanted, and so I'm actually going to back that down. So the stock Honda tolerances on the ring gap are as so. 24 thou is the max on the top ring. Second ring is going to be 28, but new specs are 8 to 14. Max tolerance is 24, and then standard new 16 to 22, and then 28. You don't have to do the oil ring. So being it's going to be a turbo motor, I am actually going to go to the very edge of the Honda clearances, which is 24, 28. On the last motor, guys, I went like 32, 38, I think, or it was up there, guys. It was like 30, 35. It was pretty high up there, so I'm going to dial that back down, and the motor ran perfectly, guys. It had great compression, but I did lose a little bit of compression from blow-by, and I can notice that in the throttle response. So in doing so, it was actually more than I needed, and I'm just going to go ahead and dial that back down, so let's get going. And so what you want to do, guys, I've always done this method. I've always used just a grinder. So obviously this will take off a shitload of metal in a very short amount of time. But what you want to do, you just want to make sure you just do one side and you make sure it's squared off. So whenever these compress, they're squared and they're not like angled at each other or anything like that. And just go very, very slow. Just tap, tap, and you'll get there. Because if you do, I've done it before, I've taken off way too much and I'm like, shit, so I had to buy another set of rings. But then you just go through and with a simple file, just take the file and run over the edges because it does create burrs, and so you don't score up your cylinders. And that's basically it, guys. Just repeat, rinse, and repeat. You can just keep doing it, keep doing it. So let me get working.
I ain't crazy.
Alright guys, got all the rings done over there, and these are pretty damn spot on. On cylinder 1, I went a little heavy on it. Not gonna hurt anything, guys. 28 right there on the bottom ring, so I kind of have them flipped. But outside of that, guys, if you look, 28, 28, 24, 28, 25, 28, 24, 28, 24, 28. So that is damn near perfect across the board. And that, like I said right there, that's not gonna hurt, guys. I was running 3540 in the last motor. I just looked it up. I was running 35, really it was 3538, but on some varied it was like 3240, 3538, because I was in a rush to gap them. So this is it, man. So it's pretty spot on, and I'm just gonna keep chugging along. So what happened to me before, man, I've used this brand piston, which is diamond powered, just a generic piston, and the oil control rings, these guys right here, they do not fit. So they are, I mean, I've tried trimming them and everything, and you don't want to trim these, but it's not that. There's a backstop on these that basically stop these control rings too far out. So the thing sticks way too far out, and then if you trim it, it sticks too far in, it doesn't have enough play. So if you look here, you can see that it slightly sticks out, and then when you compress it, it has outward force. Where I trimmed one of them, I just trimmed one little tab off, and it moved it into where it sat into the piston. I hope that makes sense. It sat into the ringland, so there was no outer force on the cylinder. So I'm like, fuck, dude, what do I do? And the only thing I could do is reuse the stock piston, or the stock control ring lane. So I have them getting cleaned off here. Shouldn't be anything wrong with these guys. I've reused like 150,000 mile rings. It's just the scrapers. They're just scraping the oil off. A lot of the blow by. All right, let me say this carefully. Let me think how I want to say this. A lot of blow-by is usually due to the compression ring, but it can also be caused from like a clogged up oil control ring. So a lot of the times I found that if the oil control rings are clogged up, a lot of the time that will start backing up and smoking out of the exhaust. Not necessarily the rings are bad, it's just that the ring is all clogged up like these were. And then usually the compression ring, they usually go bad before the oil ring. So you'll start losing compression, and then once that happens, oil starts getting by and spinning them out. So I'm fairly confident I'll be okay to go ahead and use these, because it was a 108,000 mile motor. So in a minivan. You know they weren't freaking going crazy in a minivan, so I'll be good. But taking a look, guys, she is looking good to go. Looking great. Got all the rings done. Let's see here. Yep. I can't get over these block guards, man. They are just phenomenal. The motor looks so clean, guys. So clean. And I can't wait to get a shot of them with the pistons in here. But check this out, guys. Shout out to my machine shop. This freaking crank is absolutely beautiful. Micro polished and cleaned. But next, what we have going in are the TL Type S piston oil squirters. So I'm not sure if I showed you guys this before, but if you see here, the J35a7 only has piston oil squirters on the rear VCM cylinders. So what I did, I went ahead, I bought the 0708 TL Type S piston oil squirters. Now all of my cylinders and all my pistons will have cooling oil to the bottom of them, and that's another reason why we did our HalferLand Tri-Coat piston treatment, and especially that underside treatment. Got them all oiled up right there, so they're ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put the crank in after I'm done tightening down those piston oil squirters. Alright guys, got the crank in there, and you can see just how clean that thing is. Look at that thing shining. And guys, like I said before, all of our motors, if you're getting a full motor rebuild or a block rebuild, we micro polish. We get all of our cranks micro polished, and we spec them out to make sure they're good to go. So there's the bottom end right there. Need to put the main caps on, and once again, guys, we are running just a baseline King main bearings. But if you look at the last bearings, they looked really good, guys. Really good. This one has a light bit of scoring. There was only one bearing, I think maybe two. There was one bearing for sure that looked like it had additional wear than the others, and that was on cylinder, I want to say number 3 on the VCM side. So outside of that, all the rest looked good, and then one had some debris in it, and that's it. But got them all lined up here. Gonna go ahead, spray them off with carb cleaner, then I'm going to oil them down, then I'm gonna go ahead and put them in. I ain't crazy. Okay guys, when installing the rod cap, you always want to check to see if there's any markings, and you can see here there are. This is rod 004. So what we're going to do, we're going to match it up to the writing on the rod. So you match the rod cap writing with the rod. So you go ahead, and I'm just going to put the actually let me pull these out. Go ahead, and then I'm going to put the rod cap with the numbers to the numbers. Like so. And that's basically it, guys. And just hold it a little bit, kind of push it down, and then put these bad boys in, and then just go ahead and lightly torque them down. Not a whole lot, like you see here. You need to get that guy. Usually you go one by one, but I went ahead and you want to make sure that the rod journal is at bottom dead center, or the crank journal is at bottom dead center, and it's relatively close on these two, so I went ahead and I just put them there. But let me see. So this cylinder is going to be number 4. That's 1, 2, 3, and this is going to be 4, 5, 6. So I want number 4 right here, and then I'm going to make sure I keep the hardware with itself, or to its rod, and then here you can see that the number is there. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna simply do the same thing here, guys. Put that bad boy on there. Good. Take these guys. The number was on this guy. Put him there. Put him there, and then I'm gonna lightly snug. You can see this one's already torqued, so you go I forgot what the setting is, but you go to whatever that torque spec is, and then you go 90 degrees, and I always mark mine, so you can see there marked, went 90. So let's go ahead and do this. Alright guys, so what I'm doing, I'm just torquing these down to 14 as they should be, and then I'm gonna follow it up with go back and follow it up with a 90. So you'll see. Get that guy on there. Alright guys, got all of the pistons in, all of the rods, and we only got one more rod cap to put on. That's it. All of the rods torqued down to, or the rod caps torqued down to 14 foot-pounds. What you're going to want to do, you're going to go through and you're going to go ahead and mark a single line, a vertical line on it, just like that. Try to get as straight up and down as you can. Vertical line. I'm going to do vertical line. Alright, and then go ahead and turn her over. See, this one's already done. Go ahead and go there. So you want to go, after the 14 foot-pounds, start here vertically. You're going to go 90 degrees, which is right there. So it's an L, basically. So you're going to go straight vertical down to there, and that is your 90 degrees. I got this set at 50 foot-pounds just to see what it ends up coming out to. It may be more than that, but what I like to do is just go ahead. Ooh, let me get this guy on real quick. So just go ahead and you want to get him as square as possible. This is what I like to do. One click right there. All right, so we're going to start there, and I'm going to end up here basically. So go ahead and pull them. Yep, so you heard 50. There it is right there. So that's your 90, and then you double check. You see how it's gone 90 from there to there, and that's it, guys. Just go ahead, rinse and repeat. All right, guys, after you got all of them torqued down, you want to just go ahead, rotate the motor over, make sure it spins freely, as you can see here. So got them all torqued down. And the best way to go about that, guys, is doing the middle, starting in the middle, working your way out when you're torquing them down. And honestly, I go a little bit at a time all the way up until I get 90. So I'll go like a quarter, and then obviously quarter again. Start working my way there until I get all the way to the 90. So you can see, rotating very smooth. And I can feel it's a tight, man. It's brand new. It's definitely a tight motor. That's where the breaking in procedure comes in a lot, guys, because all these tolerances are brand new, super tight. The rings are brand new. Everything's brand new. So next up is going to be the main bearing. There you go, guys. Make sure it spins over well. Look at that. If I wanted to, I can go fast. Beautiful, guys. Beautiful. Spins nice and free. Obviously has some resistance as there's the pistons and everything in there, but it feels really good, guys. Look at that. Sweet. So guys, like I said, if you're going to be rebuilding a motor, might as well just go ahead and replace all the gaskets. We got all the oil pumps gaskets that are brand new. This is the front main seal right here, which will slide over the snout of the crank, and then this is the second other guy right there. All right, and then this is going to get a sealant. Now a lot of people use Honda Bond, and I've already said this many times in my videos, guys. I use red RTV. It's a high temp RTV, and guys, I've used it on water pumps, oil pumps, basically everything, man, and I've never had an issue, so I stuck with it. And that's a lot of builders are superstitious, so if something works for them, they stick with it. And that's the same thing that goes with my head gaskets. I have copper sprayed my head gaskets in every single motor, guys, every single motor, and I've never had a head gasket issue, never. So that's been nitrous, turbo, all of it. NA, you have at it, man. That's it. So let's keep going. 2 to 4 mil thick, and once you put it on, you lightly put the part on, and then you barely torque these down just to where you could see the sealant start pushing out. At that point, guys, you want to leave it for about 20 to 30 minutes, let it start to harden a little bit, and then torque it down, because that creates the best seal, and obviously it hardens up. It's not just going to push it all out. So that's what you want to do, guys. Put it on, put the part on lightly, just barely get these to where they're bottoming out and the sealant's pushing out. Give it about 30 minutes, then come back. All right, guys, got the oil pump on. Gonna do the water pump after this, but next up is our new partner with Track Tough. very, very excited to get this part, guys. If it wasn't for them, I would still be struggling with the oiling situation. As you guys recall, and I bring it up again, the only reason this motor is coming together is because the oil cooler lines, there is nowhere good to run them. And somehow, even though it was tucked up, somehow the oil fitting got damaged, the line ripped out, and the motor lost all its oil. So with the Track Tough oil VTEC relocation block, guys, this is so much easier, because before, so the adapter is here on the car now currently. This, as you can see, runs up much higher, but here you have the lower control arm, and there's nowhere to run it. Everyone's like, oh, why don't you put another 90 on there, or 45? I tried, guys. I'm not stupid. I tried the most I could, and the only way to get it to route properly was with one straight and 145. So that's the route I had to go, and luckily I was turned on to Track Tough and spoke to the owner, Robert, who is very, very knowledgeable, awesome. All their parts are phenomenal, guys, all CNC precision, and get to talking, guys, and we end up in a partnership. So like I said before, it will be about another week or so until we have these in stock, but we will have them on our store for $175, and which is a killer deal, guys. These are full billet. Look how thick they are, and they're a problem solver. So basically, we'll have those, and then also we'll have the option for you to purchase these dash 10 orbs. So if you want to purchase these orbs, you can, or you can try to go out and source your own. And they're pretty hard to come by. You can find them sometimes, but we'll have them readily available. So you just purchase these and get these at the same time, and you guys are good to go. So let's go ahead and see here. I already got everything in there. So this is the VTEC plunger, basically, which is here. This is what tells the motor to go into VTEC, and it's a little plunger and a spring. So when you're pulling it out, make sure you get the spring out of there. I don't know if you can see it in those two holes right there. There's a spring, and then this kind of this plunger sits over the spring, and then you push this down onto it, and that's how VTEC engages. So just a little education there for you guys. But let's go ahead and put this bad boy on. Make sure I got all that. And what I always like to do, guys, I don't know if you saw it when I was putting the water pump on, but I always lightly oil all of my seals and gaskets, man. Always. And like I said, man, I've had tremendous luck. Knock on wood, dude. Knock on wood. I keep saying this and watch shit happen. I've had tremendous luck with gaskets and stuff not leaking. And it's because I take my time, I torque everything down properly, and I always lightly oil up all of my seals and all my gaskets, guys. And as long as you do that, you really shouldn't have a problem, unless the car just simply ages, you know? That would be it. So all right, let's get this thing on. All right, so it's pretty self-explanatory, guys. Just line the damn thing up. And you do want to, if you have the whole motor apart, you do want to put the oil pump on before you put this on, because it will block that bolt right there. So let's go ahead and do this guy. And I think this one's the longer one, yeah. This one's the longer one here. Get that guy there. That guy started. And you do have to orientate this dash 10 outlet pretty carefully, or you got to get it so it doesn't block the bolt going in. All right. Maybe I went the wrong way with this. I think I did. I think these need to be switched around. Let's go ahead and get this guy tight a little bit though, so it doesn't fall out. I think this guy goes, yeah. It looks weird, but this goes really far in, and it actually holds the oil pump on too. So that's why this bolt's longer. It's on, and the torque specs for the VTEC block, or pressure sensor, I forgot the damn technical term they call it. It's a solenoid, I don't know. Anyways, it's 16 foot-pounds. So as always, it's the same damn thing, guys. Torque it, work your way around lightly, little at a time at first, and then get to your torque specs. Alright, guys, we got the entire bottom end buttoned up. As you can see, we got our HalferLand Performance rods. All the marks are turned 90 degrees. So what is up next? We're going to go ahead and install the oil pickup tube, the windage tray, and then I need to pull the oil pan off the old motor, which is outside, swap that over here, get that sealed up. Then I can rotate it over because you want to take care of the bottom side. At least with our engine stand, you want to take care of the bottom side, finish it up before you put the heads on, because once the head's on, man, this thing becomes a pain in the ass to turn. It is super heavy, and to get it turned back over is just really, really hard. So let's go ahead. I'm going to get the oil pickup tube on and the window tray.
I ain't crazy.
Yeah, take a look at this. Look at that. That is a piece of metal, guys. It's a shaving. So this was hanging off of the oil pickup. It was just sitting there. It looked like a big booger because the oil was kind of forming and dripping around it. And I just touched it and it fell. It's definitely some type of metal shaving. I don't know what it's from. It looks like, damn, guys, I don't even know. Part of the cylinder? Yeah, it's definitely like shaved off. That is incredible. Look at that. Super pliable. It's not breaking really, it's just bending. I'm not sure what this is from, but you can tell it's definitely shaving from metal to metal contact and no oil rubbing up and down. So like I said, guys, the motor was running, but it was not healthy. Wow, guys, it's hard to see, but on top of the oil pickup, it's like a silver gray color. Let me see if I can get you some of this. Look at that. That's not oil color, guys. That's like metal shavings. I hope you can see that. Look at that. Yeah, dude. I'm 90% sure that the pistons going up and down in those rings, the hard rings, scraping the soft cylinder walls, or not the soft cylinder walls, just scraping the cylinder walls in general, just started killing it. It probably basically bored the whole cylinder out. So this thing is probably going to have to get oversized pistons, to be honest with you. Look at that. Look at that, guys. I hope you can see that. Look at the color in this, guys. Oh my gosh. Look at that. All that build, you see all that gunk on there? That is all metal material, you guys. So you can see where it's normally colored there. But look at that. You can start seeing the flakes. That is all super fine material, guys. That is incredible. This motor, this poor motor, man. Guys, you got to understand too, that happened within a matter of less than a minute. In the matter of less than a minute that happened, guys. That is insane. Alright guys, next up is ARP, or head studs. So if you're not going to use the stock bolts and you go with ARP head studs or whatever head studs you use, very simple to install, guys. The top portion is going to have a hex key basically, and you put them in. So basically I use the impact drill, and I drill it down just to where it bottoms out, snugs up, and then after that I go back through, I put it, and I turn them all a quarter of a turn. So I already turned this one, but you take it and you just turn it a quarter of a turn, you back them out a quarter of a turn. That way, guys, whenever you torque the bolts, the heads on, they don't tighten these and they don't get stuck in there, because it can be a problem. I've gotten one stuck before and it was a pain in the ass to get out, and you end up destroying the head stud. So basically just do it this way. So back it all the way down and then just a quarter turn off on all of them, and that's it. After that, guys, you go ahead and clean off your mating surfaces, and then we're gonna go ahead and install the head. Something I did want to note, guys, if you are reinstalling these or reusing the ARP head studs, you do still want to put some type of lubricant. Guys, I've been using the Permatex, the anti-seize lube, for ever, literally since I've been building motors. It's the same stuff I put on the crank bolt to make sure it doesn't lock up whenever I'm turning the motor over. I can still crack it loose. Go ahead and apply it to the bottom of the bolt, both ends basically. So when you put the head stud into the block, and then also on the top side where the nut goes, just gives you better torque reading and also ensures that it's not going to get stuck down in the block.